Morning, how are you?
Sorry, I thought I was getting a different Sam. So, and that's why I didn't do any research.
No worries.
Um, you've got me at a disadvantage. So, what are we talking about?
Um, so I hit you up originally because I commented on your well, originally I saw you were doing a lot of contractor stuff, so I was gonna pitch you on like lead gen stuff.
Okay,
But then I saw that you do a bunch of that stuff and you posted about why contractor businesses are really good to start.
okay,
And I had commented on that, and then you had asked me like when I'm looking to start my contracting business and whatnot.
okay,
And I kind of send you a voice note of what kind of position I'm in now, which is I've been doing lead gen for people, mostly roofing companies,
okay,
and now I'm thinking about starting my own company, not roofing, something less specialized because it's hard to find good roofing crews and stuff and manage all of that. So I was thinking about doing something simpler like junk removal, for example,
okay.
and
Or what about painting or something? Something simple.
painting. Yeah, painting was also considered in that. Yeah.
Okay, because junk removal tends to be seasonal,
Mhm.
and the the average sale tends to be pretty low as well. Just like with odd jobs, I have a number of clients in the odd jobs industry, and even though they charge $200 an hour, they have a hard time making a profit.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
no, definitely. Painting was the first one that came to mind because I actually used to do door to door for a painting company.
okay,
And I started doing the math, and I'm like, hold on, if they were paying me and this and that, and it's like, how much are they charging? So I started doing some research about that, and these guys make pretty good money. Like for a small bedroom, these guys will charge like $1,500, right?
okay.
So,
How long have they been in business?
these guys have been in business for a long time, 15 years,
Okay,
10 years.
15
Yeah,
years. Okay. Well,
yeah.
if you think about, a company like Certa Pro Painting or Wow One Day Painting, they are in the 100 million or 800 million category.
Wow.
So, I mean, and my clients go against those two companies on, a fairly regular basis, and they can close jobs uh sometimes at double the price. So that's what branding and differentiation does for you. So when you have a good brand, I think there's good money to be made.
Yeah.
Where do you live, Sam?
I'm in Toronto. I'm in
Who are you? I'm in
yeah,
Mississauga.
yeah, I'm on the east end. I'm at like Victoria Park area.
Okay. I'm at the beaches every Saturday playing volleyball. So,
Nice.
okay. So you have a full-time job now, do you?
Nah, dude. So I was living in Costa Rica for 3 years. I just got back a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, poor you.
Yeah, terrible, terrible life. So now I just got back, so I'm trying to get something set up here. So
Okay.
I've been partnering up with a few of the roofing companies, and doing like 10% deals where I'd rather do a revenue share rather than a like a 2K monthly retainer. It just makes more sense to me in that sense.
Okay.
But I got a lot of hours in the day, man. And I'm thinking about like having my own company is there's something about it that just makes sense.
Okay.
Because like with the lead gen, if whatever happens to Facebook ads, sometimes there's ups and downs, and there's ups and downs.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm looking to um, transition over to organic content as well. But just
Okay.
just to say to have something more stable, right?
Right. Okay. So
Yeah.
let me share a quick case study with you. I was
Mhm.
actually in Rio playing volleyball in a tournament, and I met these young guys. Um, and I knew we were about to get our ass kicked because these guys looked like they were in pretty good shape. And sure enough, I'm trying to trash talking. And every time that I tried, trash talking, and they just smiled and kicked our asses. And after the game, I saw that the trash talking wasn't working. I even talked about their mothers and stuff like that. Again, they were smiling. After the game, we're shaking hands, and I pulled one of the guys closer, and I said, how come none of my shit was working on you?
They understand.
Usually when people get mad, they don't play well. And I said, Leo, I knew what you were doing. You're not going to get inside this head. And I said, I want to buy you a beer. And he says, sure. Meet me at the beer tent afterwards. And sure enough, we're doing the what do you do conversation. And he tells me he's a painter. And I said, you're a painter. Why are you a painter? Why don't you own a painting company? Well, Leo, you got to understand my boss is slow in the winter. And I can travel the winter. I average 38 countries a year. And and my boss always has a job waiting for me when I come back, right? So jump forward about 12 years now. Actually, last year he called me from Costa Rica. He was flipping out because he couldn't get a flight because of the COVID thing, right? And he's not jabbed, and he was having a hard time. But he kept traveling right through COVID. So about a year and a half ago, I was invited to a housewarming party because we helped him start this painting company with the lifestyle that he wanted. And he says, if you can, design a company for me that gives me the lifestyle, I'm all in. Sure enough. And, he averages about $5 million a year painting. While he travels usually 5 to 6 months a year all over the world, and he has his business on autopilot. He just bought a $4 million house, and the first thing he did before moving in was rip out the roof so he can add a second floor to it. He owns a $2.5 million cottage. He has all the toys, the boats, and jet skis, and so on. So, and that's the example that I would use if you're looking to start a painting business. I would start with a great brand differentiation, right? Aggressive marketing system, which I'm sure you know about already. Systems, procedures, training programs, and everything.
Yeah.
Because I would franchise it as well, because the hardest people to get are HVAC technicians. Okay, we had a client, and we were actually importing people from Alberta, from the US, that were licensed, and they wanted to be part of a growing concern, and they wanted to be part of the aggressive management program, so they can get off and stop working with their hands. So if you're looking to get to $2 million or $5 million or even $20 million in the painting industry, we have what we call aging, or companies in the box that have been aging for 12, 13 years. So, and we've been working on them. So Google recognizes and creates authority with them. So when we start being serious, like one of the companies is ambiancepainting.com. And we have about 10,000 pre-registered aging domains or businesses in the box that are ready to go. So if you're looking to get to 2 million or 5 million, I think that's the quickest way to launch a business and design it on autopilot, where you're not working with your hands and being a slave to your own business. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, for sure. What's more details on that? What does that actually look like the process?
The process, how we can get you to 2 million or 5 million, is we have the systems and procedures and policy and procedure manuals and all those things partially done. Then we customize it to someone that's coming in. So we would customize it to, let's say, the GTA area. So it's about turning the websites over, so they start focusing on the particular market as opposed to North America, right?
Okay.
And basically just starting to launch it. And
so it's like a kickstart. It's a kickstart for people to, so they have their, So they have their domain set, like connected to something that already has authority, so they get more, organic traffic, and it's just kind of like a kickstart to their marketing, essentially.
Yes, yeah. We,
Yeah.
we call it a business in the box because
Yeah.
it's really everything designed in the business. Everything you're going to learn over the next 20 years is going to be in the box.
Outside of the marketing side of it, I'd be more interested in like the actual painting, like the SOPs, the training stuff, the like that kind of stuff where because the marketing I could set up a website, a funnel, automation, I could do all of that, right?
Okay.
Um
But the
it's
advantage is these
yeah,
websites have been aging for
yeah, yeah,
10 to 12 years.
yeah.
And in terms of, the educational program, the drip campaigns is something that we would help you set up. Do you have any experience there in
When you say
setting up
when you say
drip
drip
campaign?
campaigns,
Yep.
you mean like
So,
email campaigns over time? What do you mean?
uh, okay. So let's say the websites start working. You start creating a pay-per-click campaign, right?
Yeah.
That's the quickest way to get leads, right? So when someone says, yes, I would like to get a quote on painting my main floor of the house,
Yeah.
what we generally do is set up the meeting, 5 to 10 days out.
Okay.
Okay. Then that way the drip campaign can go into work.
Right.
Right. It can start showing them videos about your testimonials,
Yeah, warming
videos
them up.
about, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
So by the
absolutely.
time you get there, they've already seen 5 or 10 videos of yours in terms of, before and after pictures and what can be done. The latest colors for the GTA done by, a famous interior designer.
Hmm.
And warming them up. So by the time your salespeople gets there, they already have a pretty good idea they want to go with you,
Hmm.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because of the credibility, because you're going to be a franchise or you are franchising. And people already know that a company that's franchising is more concerned about the reputation, right? So
Hmm.
even though they know they're going to pay you 20 or 30% more, they want to know that the job is going to be done right the first time. They're not going to have any issues, and they're going to be happy at the end of the day. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The other thing that we do is what we call index sites. About 15 years ago, we were hired by a moving company,
Okay.
and we asked, what is it you want us to do? And he basically said, well, I just want to get my trucks working so I can hire more people, so I can get more trucks, so I can make more money, and so on. And I said, that's one way to go. Have you thought of being more of a sales organization? Right.
Hmm.
And what we did is we created an index site, and the index site kept growing around North America. He made millions in profit,
Yeah.
right? But we connected about 1,000 moving companies around North America, and he took a bit off the top of each company, just like you were trying to do, right?
Hmm.
So that's what we're doing. We're creating an index site for the painting industry, the roofing industry, flooring, and so on. And then when you connect 10 index sites all together, it gives a lot of credibility with Google.
Yeah.
And you're spending, the idea is to get away from the pay-per-click as
With the
quickly as
SEO.
possible, right?
Yeah,
And concentrate more on organic results. And
yeah.
people
Yeah.
tend to trust organic results than pay-per-click.
Yeah, what you're doing, it's like a network. It's like what people were doing with the PBN network type things, but you're doing it with like trades. It makes a lot of sense what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I wanted to do the same thing for similar thing with roofing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And when you connect, 1,000 painters around North America as dealerships, those can easily be transferred over or retrained to become franchises.
Hmm.
So it's franchises in training that are helping you grow your company.
Hmm.
Then they pay you for a franchise, right? So I think it's a great foundation to build a painting franchise.
Yeah.
Okay. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it all everything you're saying makes sense. I'm just trying to wrap my head around what it looks like A to Z. Like, for first, like, let's say you're gonna tell me, you know, whatever the service costs or whatever it is you provide, and then like what the steps look like, where what exactly it is you're giving me. Are you giving me a site that's connected to your index of sites? What exactly is included, and what is what does the whole thing look like, right? On my
Well, it
end,
really
and
depends on what service you want from us. We
yeah,
have, we have services that start at, at $100,000 a year, which what we call the interim CEO program,
okay,
right? And that's the reason why it's the most popular product or service from us, is because you're getting the biggest results.
okay,
Okay, you're paying $100,000, but we're getting you to 2 million or 5 million a lot faster.
okay,
Google statistics. Let me just share a quick Google statistic. Google says that a general contractor takes 20 to 40 years to get to $20 million.
mhm,
20 to 40 years. And a lot of times it's the second or third generation that gets over the $20 million. If they survive, right?
yeah,
There's a 96% failure rate in business before COVID. We don't know
mhm,
what the number is after COVID. It's going to be higher than 96%, right? But with the same tools, that we call those the 33 tools, that same general contractor can now go from 0 to 20 million in 3 to 7 years. Okay.
okay,
So um so you understand what I've been doing. We should have started with a little bit of history. I started my first construction business when I was 17. And I was sick and tired of leaving money on the table because people kept seeing us as jack of all trades, master of none. So we
mhm,
started building basements. I bought my first house. I had to create a basement apartment to create positive cash flow because I wanted to have the house paid for before I moved in.
mhm,
Okay. That was the plan. Then the construction business started by accident. Mr. Ferguson from across the street came over and said, what are you doing? Why is there newspapers all over the windows and the doors? And, what are you doing? And I said, well, my dad trusts you. I trust you. Let me show you what I'm doing. And I said, by the way, you could do the same thing and have a total stranger pay 70% of your mortgage. When your house is free and clear, kick him out. Now you have a free and clear house. He loved the idea so much that he brought me 5 clients. That's
mhm,
how the construction business started. So then I'm doing basements. We're getting pretty good, but keep in mind it's totally illegal back then. So
mhm,
the mayor is hunting me down. They want me arrested because I'm creating a precedent that if it gets out of hand, then everyone wants to do it. And sure enough, it got to a tipping point where you can arrest me, but what are you going to do with all these basements, right? Because
mhm,
now I have competition and a lot of other people are doing it, and they got past that point and said, okay, we might as well legalize it,
mhm,
right? And that's how the construction business started. So um, then I was starting because we kept doing basements. We're doing beautiful bathrooms in the basement, beautiful kitchens in the basement. We're doing some basements in Woodbridge actually for $180,000. A
mhm,
basement 40 years ago, $180,000. And we're doing the basement, and I'm saying, well, while we're here, we can renovate your kitchen and your bathrooms upstairs. And they said, well, Leo, you guys are good at building basements. What do you know about kitchens and bathrooms? And I go, wait a minute. I just built you a beautiful kitchen in the basement. You said it was beautiful. We had to break concrete. We had to put in the sewer system. We had to do all that. Upstairs, we don't have to do any of that. It's much simpler upstairs, right? We still had that problem. And that's why I had to design 22 different franchises to segregate it, to separate it, to make sure each crew only did one thing.
mhm,
Okay. And that's we're taking all that knowledge, information, and for the past 40 years, I've been flying around all over North America analyzing construction companies.
mhm.
Why does one construction company that does kitchens does $1 million and another company does kitchens does $20 million? What's the difference, right? So when you start comparing thousands and thousands of companies, that's when you figure out the 33 tools.
Mhm,
And the 33 tools are what's in the box,
mhm.
business in the box. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, so you've developed a system to grow construction type companies very
Yep.
quickly.
Yeah, we
And
can
then
save you 5 or 10 years
yeah,
on your learning curve,
and then
minimum.
I imagine with what we were talking about, the 100K package, that's like it will be that plus like mentorship or something like that.
That includes the mentorship.
Yeah.
It includes you and I, going for lunch, talking, having Zoom calls like this, um, and discussing strategy. Building the business blueprint. Building the business blueprint is eliminating 99% of your future mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the value of a $400,000 mistake you didn't make? Right?
Yeah.
It's more than $400,000. Trust me.
Sure.
Okay. And that's an actual case study we'll talk about in the future.
Cool. Do you do consulting work too, like smaller, like 1-day consult stuff like that? Or is everything like long term?
Well, see, I lose my shirt on you for the first 12 months. Um, so everything is designed long term. I've got
Yeah.
clients from 40 years ago still working today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So they need me. I work with them, for a couple of weeks or a month. Then they go away and say, Leo, I got it. Then a year later, they come back, Leo, I need to go from this to this. Then we help them, or I need a general manager. I need a CFO. I need a CEO, or we help them do what they need to do. Then we go away and we'll come back when they need us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good. Um, to me, you sound like the expert of scaling a business, right? From like a smaller business, a smaller one to a bigger one, and obviously
Well,
getting
a
them
lot of the
kickstarted too.
business start from zero.
Yeah, yeah, I see that. But that still requires a significant investment from those people, right? Like there's a certain trust that they have in you, and okay, let's get this kicked off. Um, where I see us working together, I think, is where I would start by myself and kind of make those basic beginner mistakes and whatnot. And once I have that something rolling, then I would reach out to you, be like, here, Leo, this is what I've got. Let's take this to the next level.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious though. You're welcome to do that, but
Yeah.
why would you want to waste 4 or 5 years making mistakes?
I wouldn't do it for 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
I
How
really, I
long do
really
you want
just
to make
mean,
mistakes for?
well, I really just mean like there's just the like initial, there's some initial stuff where I could figure it out. You know what I mean? Where I would rather leverage your time for something bigger than just basic stuff, right? Like there's just basic stuff I need to just figure out.
Okay,
Um,
such as,
yeah. Well, let's say like, okay, I register my business, I get my thing set up, I find a couple of painters, right? And we go and do a few jobs. And then like once that's done, then it becomes a reality. Then it's like, okay, I have a painting company. We paint it. It's not like this imaginary thing, right? And then that's once that's rolling, and I could see like where how the flow is going, if there's issues, where the issues are, how many jobs we're doing, things like that. And then eventually you hit bottlenecks, right? Like, okay, I see the main bottleneck would probably be with finding painters. That's where like already just off top, because all the marketing stuff is easy for me. Like it's really easy. Branding, all of that stuff, super easy. Scaling, finding, new clients is easy. It's really like fulfillment where because it's skilled to a certain extent. It's not, obviously it's not like carpentry or something higher, but it's still, you still got to know how to paint, right?
who has to know how to paint?
The painter, the one I'm hiring, right?
Right. Do
Right.
you need to know how to paint as a business owner?
You don't need to. It definitely helps. I mean, you put primer on, then you put paint on, right? I'm not sure of I'm sure there's more nuances to it, right? Different kinds of paint, different stuff. So I would like to spend some time in the field too, like a little bit at least, like understanding. But I want to hire an expert, right? That's the point. Like I could
Right.
technically I could start an electrician company and hire electricians, right?
Right, exactly.
Like, yeah.
Let me help you with that, because this is where a lot of people get confused.
Okay.
Let's use a different industry. What you're trying to do is design and build a custom home for your wife. Let's assume you
Okay.
have a wife. Do you have a wife?
I don't have a wife, no.
Girlfriend? No? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's assume you have a wife.
Sure.
You're designing her dream custom home. What would be your first step?
First step to design her custom home. Ask her what her dream home is.
Okay. I want 5 bedrooms, 5,000 square feet.
Beautiful. Next step, either I sit down and think of some ideas, go look at other houses, and eventually, maybe if I'm not that creative, I could call someone that does that, like architect or designer, right? Personally,
Okay.
I design it myself, but for most, yeah,
Okay. But eventually you're going to hire an architect, correct?
right. Eventually, yeah.
Because the architect knows the building codes, but why wouldn't you start with an architect?
Because he doesn't have the design. He could make it. I'm sure architects also, they're capable of designing stuff, but that'd be more the guy because he would have his own vision, right?
But doesn't he ask you some questions just like you asked me?
I guess so.
How,
I guess you could just go straight to the architect and just, yeah.
It's interesting you said that because it's the same answer you gave me about starting your business, right?
Yeah.
You feel for some reason, and maybe you need to look at that. Maybe you need
Yeah.
to look in the mirror and say, well, why would I waste 2 or 3 years, fooling around with different designs? Then the architect will ask the right questions. In 10 minutes, he has an idea what you want and design it 3 months later. You don't have to waste 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Right? You don't. Because even though you believe branding, how much branding research have you done? How does subliminal messaging work in branding?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big topic, right? Like, yeah, it's there for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I guarantee you, you belong to Facebook groups, correct?
Yeah.
Are you a member of Construction Fails?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. That one has 330,000 members. Construction Pros is 130,000 members.
Okay.
I guarantee you those two groups, those are the two biggest construction groups. 100% of those people chose the wrong company name to start.
Okay.
Okay. So it's the equivalent of building the house.
Yeah.
Then hiring an architect. The architect says, well, this is an ugly house. It's not functional. You're losing heat. We're going to demolish the house. We're going to design one properly. Right.
Yeah.
So the question I have for Sam is, why design something that you're not going to want and then rip it down and redesign it? You can do it that way, but analyzing thousands and thousands of businesses, you're going to go in the wrong direction first.
Yeah.
Here's another Google statistic for you. And there are a lot of painting groups, by the way, on Facebook. Google states that painters generally take 5 to 40 years to get to $800,000. $800,000. That's the ceiling for roofing companies in North America. $800,000. Only 2 or 3 have reached 100 million or 800 million. Okay.
Okay.
So if you use the same mindset, you're going to take 5 or 10 years to get to $800,000 if you are the average painting company.
Mm-hmm.
So we can schedule another meeting 5 years from today and see where you are. It wasn't meant as a joke, but generally that's what happens. People are so set in their mind, this is what I'm going to do. Whether it's right or wrong, this is what I'm going to do. I can save you 10 years on your learning curve. Honestly.
Yeah, I hear that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I can save Sam 10 years on your learning curve.
Yeah. And the price tag on that is, so I saved 10 years and the price tag on that is 100K?
No, I was starting to explain the different plans.
The different plans, yeah.
The product or the service we're getting the most return on is the interim CEO program, because the people that work with me are aggressive. Leo, I don't want to waste time. I want to get to 2 million, 20 million, 10 million, whatever their goal is. Okay. So that's the number one plan. But we have other plans that are $500 a month.
Okay.
If you want an advisory plan, we sit down a couple of times a week and we talk about your plans and your strategies. And I tell you, okay, based on 40 years of history, by doing what you're thinking of doing, this is going to be the result.
Yeah.
But if you do this other thing, here's the result. You make the decision. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, if it's look, $500 a month to have you as an expert, as a consultant, that's a no-brainer, right?
And there's stuff in between as well.
Yeah.
But the stuff in between tends to be more marketing, which you have the experience, so you're welcome. So we can start with the lowest plan and go from there.
Yeah, it's definitely something I'd be looking into if once I pull the trigger on that. It's definitely something to
one of the things we recommend is that anyone that is thinking about starting a business, no matter what type of business it is, we generally recommend organic marketing 1 to 5 years before launching.
Yeah.
Organic marketing 1 to 5 years before launching. So if you want to start this business within the next 5 years, I would suggest you start organic marketing now, because that's going to be your cheapest way of getting clients.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
So the ball is in your court. You decide what you want to do and what the next steps are.
Yeah. Next steps. I mean, I'll take some of this information. I got a lot of shit to do today, and then you're top of the list for, you know, who I'm reaching out to when because I'm still like, you know, I haven't like decided, like just at the beginning of this call, I was telling you, like, I don't know if I want to do junk removal or right. So I need to
again, I can help you with junk removal. It's the same, you know, strategy, slightly different product. And the product, so you understand, represents about 10% of the overall business blueprint. So we don't, I mean, even though we do efficiency studies on the product and different things, we focus on the business side of the business, not the product side of the business.
Yeah, I mean, choosing product for me is just going to be about, you know, ease of fulfillment and margins on ad spend and stuff like that. So painting's great. Junk removal is great. I mean, both of those are good options. Like you said, junk removal is more seasonal, so that does, you know, that does factor into it as well. Painting is indoors most of the time.
Yep.
So it's just, I mean, I have a feeling we're gonna work together, right? It's just I don't want to right now say, hey, sign me up, let's start $500, right? Yeah. So just I'm a hot lead. I'm a hot lead. We could do a follow-up like a month from now or so and see what's up.
I would hate, Sam, to lose a month, because that's a month of organic marketing you're not doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Think about it overnight. Schedule another meeting for tomorrow. The people I work with, to give you an example, we talk 2 or 3 times a day on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay. Because when you put something on the back burner, chances are I'm not the guy for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you said it's $500 a month for that like level 1 package?
Yep.
And what does that include exactly?
It includes about 6 hours a month for us chatting. And you know, there's a lot we can do. You know, generally I ask for, you know, an agenda for the meeting so we can do some research and be prepared for the call. But a lot of times these meetings, it's probably better for you to schedule a 5-minute call to say, Leo, I need to talk about this, right? We don't need an hour to talk about, you know, hiring a general manager or hiring a painter, right?
Absolutely.
So it's about being efficient. But my job is to make sure that you don't make a $400,000 mistake.
Yeah. And that, so the idea is it's like up to 6 hours of one-on-ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super valuable. I mean, I definitely see the value there. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the way I like to work too, with the mentors and experts and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's just, hop on quick 20 minutes, blah, blah, blah. And then I go and I execute, right? You tell me what to execute, I go and I execute it.
Yeah.
And that's the format I like, where like you have the overhead view and you have the expertise. You're like, hey, you're doing this wrong, go do this, you need to do this. And then I go and I do it, right?
Well, if I'm doing my job properly, you never did anything wrong because
Right.
we talked about it before you did it wrong, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
you start doing things the right way from day one.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome.
Give that some thought. Like I said, I have 500 videos on my YouTube channel. Spend some time there if you want.
I'll check it
I
out.
have a lot of content. I posted a video about the index sites on Facebook. Have a look at that. Leave
Yep.
some comments on there because I go into more detail what I mean about an index site.
Yeah.
And start being active. Part of your job, if you're going to start a business within the next 5 years, you need to start building credibility. Influence is the new currency. So you need to have 100,000 followers or 1 million followers eventually, because that's what's going to get you to $20 million in the painting business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or junk removal business, whatever you decide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, appreciate your time.
All right. We'll talk again soon. Take care, Sam.
Awesome. Ciao.